am. Most importantly, how much I love her. This fact haunts me every day. There are feelings and thoughts that I will never be able to express again because my mom was the key to those parts of me. I'm upset that I will never know the man I could have become if my mom was still here to guide me. She was my hero, and now I often feel lost without her comforting smile and her meaningful discussions. I wish I could share my victories with her, but I can't because she is not here anymore. I wish I knew she was in the stands watching me play. I wish I could come home and show her my grades and feel the genuine pride in me that I only got from her. I wish we could sit for hours and discuss everything there is to talk about. I wish she could see me mature from a boy into a young man. I wish I could hug Mom again, but I can't now. Your Honor, I understand that sitting over there is a mother with a child and a family who love her. My mom once had that. We once had that, and she helped destroy it. That woman appeals to our sympathy under the guise of being a mother. She has desecrated the meaning of that word for me. This statement is primarily about my loss, but I also want to highlight my mom's exceptional nature. The number of people who have rallied around us is a testament to the devotion she inspired in those close to her. I want to end with the lesson my mom taught me. Leave everything the same or better than you found it. Michelle Troconis, you did the opposite. You should be punished. Thank you.
Your Honor, I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts and experience regarding the loss of Jennifer Dulos. I hope the photos here today will give you a visual sense of her kindness, gentle nature, humor, and genuine love for her family and friends. And our words will reach deep and convey our loss. In 1973, I started first grade in Brooklyn and was very fortunate to be in class with Jennifer. She and I became best friends, which over the next 46 years even grew closer to a sisterhood. When Jennifer filed for divorce and was fighting for custody of her children, our friendship grew even deeper. I reminded her often that we were family and that I'd always be there for her. On one occasion, she asked if she could include me and her children as her children's guardian in her will. At that time, I thought it was a smart, practical decision, and of course promised to care and love for them as my own. I'm grateful we had this conversation as it has guided me through the years together. The loss of Jennifer has greatly impacted my and my family's lives. We went from 5 to 10 in our hearts, and even larger if you include Lauren, Laurel, Carrie, Caroline, Melissa, and Gloria. We have learned our hearts are capable of so much love. It has also been a real test to my family's strength. I've been an absent mother to my own children and spouse to my husband, especially during the years that I divided my time living 2 weeks per month in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the other 2 weeks in Brooklyn with Jennifer's children. The heartbreak and guilt of going back and forth has been one of the hardest tests I have ever endured. But that was a choice I made, and not entirely something Michelle Troconis did to me. However, Michelle Troconis' actions, and perhaps lack of actions, greatly impacted me daily, as I am now the closest person to a mother these 5 may ever have again. My friend Jennifer should be in my shoes hugging her children each morning. My friend should be in my place hearing them laugh or cry. My friend should be by her children's side as they do their homework, get ready for bed, or wish to talk about friends. My friend should be here to teach her family history, her history, and her young years. My friend should be here singing songs, watching their sports games, and doing puzzles with her children. My friend should be troubleshooting and agonizing over colleges, ACTs, and summer jobs. Her children should feel the safety of her hug. They should know her incredible patience and love for listening. They should hear the sound of her wonderful, contagious laugh. They should experience the innate wisdom she holds about the right course for their future. They should feel, not remember, her unconditional love. Over the past 5 years, I have done my best to be a mother to Petra, Theodore, Christian, Constantine, and Noel, while always carrying the deep sadness that it should be Jennifer, not me, seeing and being present in her children's lives. Michelle Troconis, you took this from them. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
My mother was the best mom I could ever ask for. She loved me and my siblings unconditionally. She was the brightest light, a shining star, the most unselfish person you would have ever met. At the time, I did not really know all that she was doing. But looking back at it, it was truly incredible. Taking care of 5 young children, dealing with divorce court, checking in on her mother, and trying to stand tall against the evil working to bring her down. My life now is nothing like it used to be. I no longer have my mother, my hero. I'll never talk to her again. I'll never do my homework with her again. I'll never ask her for advice again. I'll never go on an errand with her again. She will never see me graduate high school. She'll never see me graduate college. She'll never see me get married. These are just a few things, and they go for my 4 siblings as well. Michelle, I will speak to you in English because that's the language we've always communicated in. Michelle, imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and your daughter is gone, and you will never see her again. Gloria Farber lived this nightmare on May 24th, 2019. What if it was not your daughter, but your sister Daniela, gone without a trace? Melissa Farber went through this on May 24th, 2019. What about if you woke up tomorrow and your dear friend Petu was gone and you would never see her again? Kiki, Laurel, Carrie, Caroline, and Lauren, to name a few, experienced that terror on May 24th, 2019. What if you woke up to the news that you would never see your mother again? My 4 siblings and I experienced that life-crushing loss on May 24th, 2019. 5 kids lost their mother. Michelle, you caused this damage. On May 24th, 2019, you not only knew about, but conspired to murder a daughter, sister, friend, and mother of 5 kids. That day, you took away 5 children's source of comfort, our protector. You showed no remorse, and you have yet to show any to this day. You have sympathy only for yourself when you realize you will be punished. You expected to get away with it because you believe you are above the law. You thought nobody would suspect you and that all suspicion would fall on my dad. Unfortunately, you underestimated law enforcement and the justice system in our country that day and the days and months following. You were caught red-handed and you're shocked. You will spend the next however many years behind bars, and this will give you the time to think about what you have done. Every day, you will wake up in a small cell with not much to do. You will have many years to contemplate what you know you have done. If you have just the least bit of humanity, I suggest you let all of us know exactly what happened that day and where my mother is. Do the right thing, Michelle. Admit to your family what you did instead of trying to keep their family pride. Ephesians 4:25. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. I will never forgive you for what you have done, and until you give us more answers, you will be considered evil, violent, and most definitely a coward. An appropriate sentence, Your Honor, would be 50 years, 10 years for each child who lost their mother that day. May my mother rest in peace. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Jenny Farber was my friend for 46 years, from when we were 4 to when we were 50, from community nursery school to middle school math class to Brown University. You have to be pretty extraordinary to inspire friendship that evergreen. She was. All the adjectives, deep, beautiful, genius, outrageous, gentle, and wise, can't even come close. We lived together, traveled together, and we held each other's babies when they were born. And I am lonely for Jennifer every day. My conversation with her lasted for 46 years. It ended on May 24th, 2019, forever silenced. I have her last voicemail. I have her last text saved on my phone. I have no other friend who knew me at 4, and at 12, and at 20, and at 50. The Jennifer that knew me at all those ages is gone. And all those Jennies stretching back in time exist only in my memory. I can't see them in her face. Sometimes I can glimpse them in her children's expressions, hear their laugh in theirs. On March 1st, 2024, Michelle Troconis was convicted of conspiring to murder Jennifer Dulos. By killing Jennifer, Troconis cut off a future for Jennifer and for us. So much of this trial has been about what was, a failed relationship, divorce, court orders. But every time that I was with Jennifer and her children, she was deeply, truly content. She was always holding one kid's hand, had another in her lap, was making a crazy joke with 2 of them. She delighted in them wholly. The most relaxed, beautiful, and fulfilled I have seen her in all my years of friendship with her was with them. That should have continued, growing and changing and evolving. But because of Michelle Troconis, Jennifer's kids never got that future with her. The week before she was killed, Jenny called me. She was feeling hopeful about the future, that there was light at the end of the divorce tunnel. I said, we're going to have so much fun. You're going to find someone to love who loves you. You're going to be free. But because Michelle Troconis, Jennifer never got that future. And I never got that time with her. By killing Jennifer, Michelle Troconis shattered Jennifer's family. I have spent every day for the past 5 years, numb with grief and raging with anger, working with these extraordinary people to piece this family together. We are a patched, wobbling, defiant, and loving thing. At the same time, I have struggled to protect my family from the fallout and the grief, my neglect, and my anger. I've asked everything of my husband, my children, and my aging parents, and I will keep asking it of them because our project is never going to end. By killing Jennifer, Troconis left 5 children without a mother. I witnessed that loss every day. I take solace in Jennifer's children, Christian and Constantine, Petros and Noel and Theodore, because they are part of her and they are now a part of me, like she was a part of me. But every act of mothering them, hair brushed, hands held, secrets kept, fights, worry, and pride is bittersweet. All joy is mediated. Because every moment that's good and every moment that's bad, Jennifer desperately wanted. It should be her visiting colleges with Theodore, lazing in bed with Christian, cheering at Noel's volleyball game. It should be her wrestling with Petros's ACTs and laughing at Constantine's newspaper article. Not me. But Jenny's not here. Because Troconis helped destroy evidence and lied to the police, Fotis Dulos remained at large over 9 months following the murder of Jennifer, from May 2019 to January 2020. That's May, all of June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. We lived in a state of fear that we would lose the kids to him and that they would be hurt. Hours after the murder, Dulos demanded we return the kids to him. 2 days after the murder, he was raging in our lobby. Even after he was arrested, the police warned us that he would kidnap the kids or enact some violent revenge on us for taking care of them. I did the calculations. How long did we have from when the ankle bracelet alarm went off until he arrived on our doorstep? 1 hour? Maybe? The kids were accompanied everywhere by an armed security guard for 9 months, and I was never not on alert. Because Troconis helped destroy evidence and lied to the police, Jennifer's body has never been found. I could not mourn Jennifer openly because she was missing. I could not answer the kids' questions, where is she? I gave a eulogy at a memorial without a body. Her mother put a headstone over an empty grave. Because Troconis assisted Dulos in the disposal of Jennifer's body, all we do have is a bloody bra and a shirt stiff with Jennifer's blood, sliced up the center. And all of the horror engendered by these, our only artifacts. That's what the kids have left of their beautiful, gentle mother. And that's what I have left of my friend. In the instructions explaining the scope of the victim's statements, we are invited to give our opinion as to what should happen to the defendant. In my opinion, Michelle Troconis deserves the maximum sentence available under the law. 1, your cruelty is stunning, and therefore you deserve a sentence at the upper limit of the range. These 5 children were not an abstraction. They were not your boyfriend's kids, a photograph on a desk. You skied with them, you lived with them, you fed them, you tucked them in. Your child, Nicole, is the same age as Petrus and Theodore. She is a daughter, like Christiane and Noelle. How could you, as a mother, knowing what that means, knowing what that bond is, how important that is for Nicole, choose to kill the mother of these children you claim to love? You must have known what the outcome would be, the devastation, but you did it anyway. Killing Jennifer demonstrates a capacity for cruelty that is mind-boggling, or that you are incapable of human feeling, that you are unable to conceive of these children as anything other than things to be acquired. Your greed is engulfing, and therefore you deserve a sentence at the upper limit of the range. You claim you didn't know Jennifer, but you coveted her life, and you effectively took it for your own. First, you took Jennifer's husband. Whatever the state of their relationship, they were married. Then you took Jennifer's home, moving yourself from Miami into Fort Jefferson, into Jennifer's bed. You moved Nicole into one of the kids' bedrooms. You enrolled Nicole at the school where Jennifer had 5 children, friends, a community. You tried to take Jennifer's children. By erasing Jennifer, you hoped to get custody, becoming what you and Fotis prematurely claimed to be, a married couple with 6 children. You cold-bloodedly planned, executed, and covered up Jennifer's murder, and therefore you deserve to be sentenced at the upper limit of the range. This killing was not an accident. You did not lose control. You helped plan every complex step, minute by minute. You drifted around that house, fiddling with Fotis' phone, providing him with an alibi, all the while knowing he was in New Canaan, snuffing out Jennifer's life. You were intimate with him against the door of the Tacoma, bloody seats and all. You sat in a Raptor chewing gum and texting while he disposed of bags of bloody evidence. That is the definition of cold-blooded. Your Honor, I believe any and all sentences should be served consecutively. There are no mitigating factors. This woman is sophisticated. She is educated. She's an independent person. She was not swayed by Fotis. I knew him 4 years, much longer than she did. And he was no Svengali. He had no special powers. She has shown no remorse. She's had many opportunities over the past 5 years to help or show compassion, and she never has. Finally, to the degree time in prison provides retribution for these crimes, she deserves to be sentenced at the upper limit of the range. Troconis' daughter, Nicole, was 12 when Troconis conspired to kill Jennifer. In the past 5 years, Troconis has raised her daughter into young adulthood. In Connecticut, Miami, and Colorado. Troconis has been available to her mother, spent time with her sister and her friends. Jennifer will not raise her children past May 24th, 2019. Jennifer will never take care of her mother or sister. Jennifer will never spend time with us, her friends. Jennifer's sentence is forever.
The first time I met Michelle, we were water skiing in Miami. I had heard that she was my dad's friend, and that was all I ever thought was relevant to know. The next time she came into my life was when we left Farmington with my mom. I don't remember it very well, but I didn't know we were leaving Fort Jefferson for good. When my mom told us we were going to New York, I expected just another visit to my grandma's house. And the pictures of the house we were moving into began to be shown, and talk of Dad's cheating slipped from adults' mouths and spread to me. I was confused. My dad, the person who I looked up to, was doing something awful, and it was with Michelle. Michelle, the woman I had not given a thought to since I had last seen her. Our lives completely changed from then on. We were living in New Canaan and getting enrolled in New Canaan Country School. I remember talking to my dad on one of our visits. I asked him something like, "Why did you cheat on Mom? I thought you said cheating was bad." He answered, "When you really love somebody, sometimes you can't wait." It occurred to me then that the person Dad really loved was no longer my mom. It was Michelle. Michelle, the one who was moving into my house, sleeping on my mom's side of the bed. It occurred to me then that this affair was why my mom took us and left, why she cried at night, and why we were no longer a family. From then on, Michelle was a part of my life with my dad. Later on, my dad told us that Michelle was not allowed to be around us anymore, and that if we wanted to keep seeing her, we could not tell Mom that Michelle was at our visits. I cared, almost more than anything, about keeping my dad happy and proud. So when my mom asked me if Michelle was at our visits, I lied. I stood in her bathroom, just my mom and me, looked at her and said, "No, she's not at our visits." Not because I wanted to keep seeing Michelle, but because I knew Dad wanted to. Mom found out that we lied, and soon Dad's visits became shorter and shorter, until it was once a week with the supervisor. Michelle's presence in our lives, even before May 24th, was overwhelming and invasive. I lied for her. I was told to trust her. I switched bedrooms so that she and her daughter could move in, all while seeing the effects this had on my own family. On May 24th, 2019, I went to my friend's house after school while my siblings went to New York. I was told I had to sleep at that friend's house because something was happening, but nobody told me what. That night, I called my mom and she did not answer. On the same day, my dad, with the help of Michelle Troconis, murdered my mom. And even though Michelle may not have been holding the weapon, I truly believe that she had a lot more to do with everything than she is letting on. Michelle Troconis, to me, is the reason I feel completely lost and alone on nights when I cannot sleep. She's the reason why I've blocked out my childhood, and that day so much I can barely remember it. She's the reason kids at school look at me with pity. The reason my teachers say guardians and not parents. The reason I've had to sit and watch as the people who care for me break down. The reason my siblings move through life with a huge piece of them lost. She's the reason I've had to sit on the bathroom floor with my little sister and try my best to comfort her. She's the reason I had to visit my dad in the hospital, knowing what he did and knowing he chose to leave us. She's the reason I did not get to visit my mom in any sort of way before she died and have no closure in her death. She's the reason I no longer feel I have a real beginning, a home to always come back to, parents I will always belong to. She's the reason words mom and dad spark nothing but a hazy memory. The reason those words will never again represent the person who holds me in their arms as I cry about some unimportant temporary problem. The person I can casually go to lunch with and talk about all the gossip and trauma with. The person who comes to my sports games and cheers me on. The person who picks me up from school. Mom and dad are words that only bring trauma and grief. I will never again share those simple moments that mean everything. Now, the only time I can feel my mom's presence is through memories. I listen to my grandma tell me about my mom when she was my age. Her friends share stories of her life. All of this is bittersweet. I hold on to these moments of her life knowing it should be her telling me these stories. I read her own writings where she talks about motherhood and of the future she never got to experience. Our teenage moments that she predicts she never got to live through. And now I'm coming to a point in my life when I'm starting to understand the full person she was. I only knew her as my mom. I'm now discovering who she was as a child, a teenager, a young adult, by myself. She should be sitting here and doing it alongside me. Michelle Troconis is the reason I've had to wake up every single day since May 24th, 2019, and ignore the first 10 years of my life because I cannot even begin to process everything. For that and everything else I've said, Michelle deserves a maximum time in jail. Thank you.
Thank you.
The actions of Michelle Troconis on May 24th, 2019 drastically impacted my life. All this began back in 2016 when I first met Michelle Troconis. I remember that my dad developed a new poisonous personality while she was around. Michelle's careless behavior led to their affair, cheating on a wonderful mother who had done nothing wrong. A family living on the opposite side of the country. Michelle was the absolute last thing my family needed. Throughout the divorce, when we had visitation with my dad, the court ordered that Michelle was not to be present. However, she insisted that we did see her. She insisted on making our family normal. She put pressure on my dad to get the divorce over. She made it clear to my dad that they had to do something. She conspired to commit murder. She conspired to commit tampering with physical evidence. She tampered with physical evidence. She hindered prosecution. She has shown no remorse. She has not cooperated. She attempted to frame Pavel, an innocent and kind man. Jennifer, my mother, was a caring mother of 5 children, a loyal friend and sister, a lovely daughter. My mom always had a dream to be grandmother, forgetting the names of our many children. She will not have that. Taking away a nurturing mother at such a young age is not something you, the court, can take lightly. I can't go home to my mom and talk to her about my school day. I can't listen in on any of her stories. I can't crawl into her bed late at night. I can't learn things from her, like when she taught me how to tie my shoelace the proper way. She was my favorite person in the world, my role model. She is still somewhere in my heart. However, I will never be the same person as I was in Connecticut. All this loss is because of Michelle Troconis. I think she should serve the maximum sentence possible. In the end, however, your decision and my statement are not about me or Michelle. This is about serving justice for my mother, Jennifer Dulos. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Michelle Troconis and her actions have affected my life in many ways. I've now lost the 2 people I've loved most in this world. My mom will now never get to see me or my siblings grow up, something I had known she had always wanted. I'm now growing up without my mother. This is something no child should ever have to do. Her life was cut short, and Michelle was a contributor. Finding closure is impossible, considering Michelle never gave any information about where my mother is and what actually happened on May 24th, 2019. Because of that day, I constantly feel like something worse is bound to happen to the people I love, and it could be my last moments with them at any minute. I remember seeing these stories on the news and thinking they were just simply crazy stories and it would never happen to my family or me. But because it did, I feel scared that it will happen again and again to everyone I love most. Most of all, I feel betrayed by Michelle. I vividly remember her on ski trips when I was scared to sleep at night, or her picking me off my bunk bed because I was scared to go down on my own. And I remember trusting her. I don't understand how she could be so selfish, and it scares me to put my trust in other people now because of Michelle Troconis. She has made my family and me suffer. Because of this, I believe she should serve the consequences of her actions, and I believe she should receive the maximum sentence. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Your Honor, Judge Kevin Randolph. I am Carlos Troconis, an American-trained pediatric cardiac surgeon, mostly dedicated to altruistic medicine, particularly on underprivileged children with heart disease. With my efforts and the Heart to Heart Foundation, thousands of children's lives has been saved. I am here on behalf of my daughter, Michelle, who, although born in Memphis, Tennessee, grew up in Venezuela, where English is not our first language. And from now on, I will try to do my best. I am a proud father of 4 daughters and grandfather of 8 American grandchildren. From a young age, Michelle joined me on medical mission to indigent, neglected indigenous areas like the Amazon. She displayed great empathy and compassion with any patient while they heal. I come from a family of 7 siblings. My oldest sister, Laura, was born with an intellectual disability and was educated in a special needs school, co-founded by my father, pioneering special education in Venezuela back in the 60s. Michelle was very close to her aunt Laura, and this bond, and along with the practice on the medical missions, inspired her to study special education. Michelle also developed a passion for outdoor life and animals, particularly horses. This led her to specialize in equine therapy, assisting children and adults with special needs. Despite the divorce between her mother, Maricela, and me, my daughter's life has remained unaffected by our separation. We handle it with mutual respect and understanding, ensuring that our daughter's upbringing was stable and loving. Michelle's ability to maintain positive relationships and her resilience through personal challenges were shaped by the way her mother and I managed our divorce. The amicable handling of our divorce provided Michelle with a strong foundation and the understanding that even in difficult times, maintaining respect and cooperation is crucial. In 2006, Michelle became a mother. Since then, she has devoted her life to supporting her daughter's dream of becoming an Olympic champion. Through dedication, hard work, discipline, perseverance, and love, my granddaughters achieved her dream, ranking in the top 10 for the United States team at the Winter Youth Olympic Games 2024 in South Korea. Even though Michelle was on trial, her steady support was crucial to her daughter's success. Regardless of the separation from her daughter's father, Michelle ensured that her daughter's lives remained stable and loving too. Drained from her own experience with our respectful handling of our divorce, Michelle maintained a nurturing and supportive environment for her daughter. This separation did not affect her upbringing, neither. And both parents continued to prioritize her well-being, focusing on her education and family values. Our family has faced painful difficulties. Michelle's confinement has been overwhelming, especially for her teenager daughter, who needs her mother guidance and support. These past 5 years has been the hardest of my life. I have left behind everything I love, including my patients, to focus on the legal process and support of my daughter through this heartbreaking process, coping with difficult challenges. My heart goes to the Dulos children who lost both of their parents. As a father, plead with you, Josh Randolph, to show mercy in my daughter's sentence, given the chance she could continue to be a valuable member of society, providing care and restorative therapies to children and adults. I hope that these examples of Michelle's compassionate character I have shared will consider in your decision. Respectful, Dr. Carlos Troconis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am the Reverend Christopher Solomini, and I appreciate this opportunity to share with you my statement regarding Michelle Troconis. I've served as the senior minister of Avon Congregational Church for over 5 years, since 2019, when Michelle and her family literally knocked on the door. The members of our church have been their sanctuary and their spiritual faith family. My years of study at Yale University with a Master of Divinity have been augmented by clinical pastoral education. This is a rigorous process of chaplaincy along with personal psychological studies and backgrounds. Prior to ordination in the United Church of Christ, I served on the governing board of the Haddam-Killingworth Youth and Family Services. While working at Regional School District 17 and years before that in Florida, I served as a guardian ad litem, providing my assessments to the court from interviews with families, doctors, psychologists, and children in order to recommend custody placement for the Department of Children and Families. Seeking spiritual support and faith-filled fellowship, even though English was not her first language, Michelle participated regularly in both worship services and activities of mission and fellowship. When her parents and sisters visited Connecticut, they too participated. I wish the world could know the Michelle I know, one not defined in media bites, scribal gloss, and an agenda-driven caricature. Almost immediately, Michelle volunteered on a weekly basis to help with some ministry, regularly cooking large meals for a Hartford soup kitchen, preparing for our monthly Farmington Valley First Friday dinners, even helping convert and paint an old space at our church for a new ministry. Michelle's disposition is exceptional as a helper, and one who cheerfully and tirelessly worked beside church members, young and old. Over the course of months, with her involvement with mission work, attending Bible studies, and helping in any way she could, Michelle became a beloved and important member of our faith family. She often shared stories of how, in her youth, she assisted her father, a physician, in third world locales in South America, where he performed heart surgery on infants. Michelle also spoke of helping feed the homeless and destitute in Caracas. Her heart is big for all of God's created, especially for children and those afflicted with disability. Empathy and compassion are at the center of her being, in my estimation. She often attended my weekly coffee with the pastor at a local coffee shop. Any number of church members, depending on their schedules, could pop in and out. I watched carefully as Michelle tenderly cared for aging members facing scary health diagnoses. I watched her grieve with and hold close church members whose beloved family died. Michelle was always especially affirming and loving to young children and genuinely affectionate to all. The relationship between a pastor and a parishioner in crisis is a sacred one, with authenticity and truth-telling the hallmarks of trust building. In the inner sanctum of my pastoral visits with Michelle, I've heard everything she feels and thinks, her feelings about all involved, her deep sorrow and grief, I've heard her prayers for Jennifer and her children and all her anxieties related to this harrowing ordeal. I watched her react with grace despite the constant media attacks from a public who doesn't know her. I have dined often with Michelle and her family, listening to life stories, learning about their Venezuelan culture, witnessing their lament, grief, and abject despair over this tragedy that devastated all their lives. A second career pastor who considers myself nobody's fool, I was pastoral yet didn't trust blindly. In fact, I had nothing to gain and perhaps on many levels much to lose by offering any pastoral counseling to Michelle or opening the doors of my church to her. Yet today I can honestly say before God and indeed the world, Michelle Troconis is a woman of not only substantive character, but with an ethic and kind-heartedness that is almost singular. Michelle always spoke with compassionate candor, dissolving often tearfully with empathy for the Dulos children and Mrs. Farber's loss and suffering. She never played a sympathy card, even though she herself was seemingly losing her own life with the ability to live with her daughter. She never asked for favors or for any financial assistance from the church or from church members, and to my knowledge, she never received any. My life is dedicated to ministering, burying, marrying, teaching, and holding the hands of many as they pass from this world, the real stuff of the world. I'm rooted in God's world and believe in justice that offers the greatest good. I myself and so many in my congregation have and will continue to pray for Jennifer's children, her mother, her sister, and all her family and friends who have been robbed of a future with Jennifer. I also pray the court, seeking God's guidance, will show mercy in today's sentence to mitigate the immense suffering already endured by this tragedy and see it fit and right in the name of the highest justice and for the good of society to restore Michelle to her daughter and to a productive place in our world community as soon as it is possible. I don't say this lightly and with the full knowledge of all the circumstances at hand. I believe wholeheartedly Michelle to be a person of extraordinary good character and a faith-filled person I would trust with my very own life. Thank you for your service to our community, and may God bless you.
Thank you.
I come before you today with a heavy heart filled with deep sadness and much emotion, not only as a mother, but as a clinical psychologist who completed a master's degree in Memphis, Tennessee. Michi, a nickname Michelle's family and close friends call her, she was a twin. Her twin brother sadly died as a baby. Losing a baby, a child, is devastating pain that leaves a hollow mark. You might imagine the extra love and special care her father and I poured upon her. Michi and all our daughters were raised to be respectful and to be hard workers. We knew coming from another country was important. These traits were, and all our girls have made us very proud. Raised also with a strong faith, they are known in their communities for their sweetness and caring love for all. Michelle has been my companion and has always been by my side when I needed her. For example, when I separated from her father at 35 years of age, Michi, then a teenager, saw the additional burden I had to handle and support me in any way she could. She did this by helping with her sister's homework and after-school activities, while I continued to work long hours at the clinic to support them. My goal has always been to instill a solid balance of both a diligent work ethic along with family values into all my daughters. and I believe her father and I succeeded in this goal. Motherhood is Michi's everything. This is evident in how she raised her daughter, instilling in her our family values and a love for one another that she learned from her childhood. My granddaughter, now a responsible teenager, an excellent student, is a testament of Michelle's dedication and constant care over these 17 years. For these reasons, the circumstances we all find ourselves in today are very difficult. When Michelle met Fotis Dulos, he presented himself to all of us as a family-oriented man going through an amicable divorce. He convinced all of us of his good intentions, knowing how a friendly separation can be, as witnessed by me and her father. Michelle believed Fotis and had no reason to doubt him. However, we were all deceived by Fotis. At this trial, revealed a man vastly different from whom we thought we had met. Had I known the danger Michi was in, I would have immediately removed my daughter and granddaughter from his presence when I arrived in Connecticut on May 30th, 2019. My heart breaks for the Dulos children and all who suffer from this loss. My thoughts and prayers are with them every single day. Your Honor, today I stand before you, enduring the hardship of misplaced trust in a man who betrayed many. This story sadly ended in ways that left us broken and devastated. I am here to plead for your understanding and mercy for my daughter Michelle, who would never, never knowingly put her child or anyone at risk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Kevin Rand. My name is Daniela, and I'm Michelle's sister. We're only 2 years apart, which has made our relationship very close since childhood. Michi isn't just my sister. She's my best friend, my big sister, my role model. The maid of honor at my wedding 20 years ago, and a significant inspiration in my life. Her character shines through a devoted mother, a caring daughter, a loving sister, the godmother of my son, and the most dedicated aunt to my children. Michi's remarkable courage and selflessness were vividly displayed during a trip to the Amazon in Venezuela. While with a group of friends, I found myself trapped by rapidly rising waters in a river. Michi quickly organized our friends into a human chain, and her calmness and quick thinking saved me from being swept away by the current into a dangerous waterfall. It was her strong arms that pulled me to safety, a testament to her instincts to protect me and save me that day. Michi has always been my biggest supporter. When I started my own business back in 2013, she helped me transform my dream into a reality. She worked day and night without asking for anything in return. All she wanted was to help my business grow. She passionately guided me and coached me on how to launch my idea. I am blessed to have her by my side. Despite her legal challenges over the past 5 years, she remains there for me, offering me advice for me, my children, when needed. Michi's unwavering dedication to helping those in need has inspired me. Michi has always dedicated herself to impacting many lives positively. even during these difficult times. She prioritized her daughter's education and athletic training. Also, she was very involved in community service, such as preparing meals for the poor at the Avon Church in Connecticut and suggesting to me to donate shoe covers to hospitals during COVID's shortage. This reflects her compassion and generosity. My sister and my role model is cherished by all who know her. I sympathize with the Dulos children are going through. I feel immense sadness because I met the children when we spent Christmas together in 2017. My own kids are the same ages as the eldest twins, and it breaks my heart to think of their loss. I treasure the memories of that beautiful Christmas we shared together. The trial has taught all of us that Fotis Dulos, the man we met and thought was a good man and worthy of my sister, was not what he portrayed to us. We all feel lied to. We all feel betrayed. Your Honor, I implore you to have mercy. Michi's life mission has always been to dedicate to service to others. The Michi I know could never harm or assist in harming another human being. I am begging you to consider Michelle's many positive contributions to the community and her family throughout her life. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the sentencing of Michelle Troconis, convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and other charges in the disappearance of Connecticut mother Jennifer Dulos. CBS 2's Tony Aiello is in the courtroom and will have a full report on CBS 2 News at 5.
This is CBS News, New York.
Oh, this is it. I mean,